Potential hazards discovered at the former Orland dump have city leaders working on a cleanup plan. Work is wrapping up at the Redding Regional Airport, where commercial flights will resume tomorrow. And it is a new school and a new start in Uvalde, Texas, 3 years after a deadly mass shooting there.
Covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now. Coverage you can count on.
New at noon, the Orland City Council this week will tackle contamination cleanup at the former city dump. The county notified the city that Stony Creek has caused erosion along one side of the property located at the north end of County Road E. Inspection showed erosion exposed old burn waste that could impact water quality and public health. The City Council will consider suggested cleanup plans identified by a firm called Geologic and must deliver a timeline for cleanup to the county. All of the solutions are expected to take a year or more to complete. There is no word yet on a cost estimate. There are still no arrests to report in the shooting of an Orland teenager Saturday night. Police say the 16-year-old was shot in an alley between 4th and 5th Streets and taken to the hospital by his parents for a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Police told us they are treating it as an isolated case. We're working to learn more about whether they've identified a suspect or if it might be gang-related. This is a live look from the South Oroville Alert California camera showing blue skies on this Monday. Meteorologist Sam Copeland has a look at what you can expect for the day ahead.
Good afternoon, Linda. It's a beautiful and bright view of Bald Eagle Mountain, blue sky as far as the eye could see, and that's a trend all across the region with a lot of sunshine in store. It's a bright but also breezy day today with seasonable temperatures for mid to late October. And we're talking about a generally quiet week ahead before we get to the weekend with higher chances for some rain and mountain snow by then. But until that point, again, we're on the warm side, including for the day today, upper 70s through the valleys. Of course, cooler over the higher terrain. We'll see temperatures drop pretty quickly tonight, falling on back into the 50s and 60s locally. With winds a bit breezy this afternoon, we're talking the rest of the week and that rain chance by the weekend coming up.
All right, thank you, Sam. Police arrested 2 people during a fentanyl trafficking investigation in Redding. Officers say they stopped a vehicle with driver Sarah Allpress and passenger Carl Adolphson. A search turned up 2 ounces of meth, and then police say a search warrant at their home on Meteor Street turned up a rifle. Because Adolphson is convicted felon, he's not allowed to have guns. Both were arrested on charges including possession and transportation of fentanyl for sale. It's a new beginning for elementary school students in Uvalde, Texas today. After a horrific mass shooting there more than 3 years ago, Legacy Elementary School welcomed hundreds of students today. The new facility replaces Robb Elementary, where a gunman killed 19 students and 2 teachers. Legacy has safeguards to avoid another tragedy. Classrooms visible from the hallways have bulletproof glass. Door sensors will alert staff if a door is left open too long. The school also has what officials describe as calm rooms.
It feels happy and sad at the same time. I think about the building because my son wanted to build, he wanted to be a contractor. It reminds me of him, like this is what he would wanted to do when he grew up.
Texas lawmakers investigating the 2022 shooting released a scathing report finding systematic failures and egregious poor decision making. The report criticized law enforcement for a lack of leadership at the scene and also noted security measures at Robb Elementary were not properly enforced. President Trump says the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is still in place, but fighting over the weekend tested that fragile truce. Both Israel and Hamas have accused each other of violating the deal as negotiators try to keep it on track. Natalie Brand has details from the White House.
Allahu Akbar.
Funerals are taking place today in Gaza after Israel's military launched strikes over the weekend, accusing Hamas of violating the ceasefire deal. Israel says militants attacked Israeli troops, killing 2 soldiers. Hamas denied responsibility.
I don't believe it was the leadership, but they had some rebellion in there among themselves, and they killed some people, a lot of people. but this is a violent group.
Israel said Monday the ceasefire is back on and aid trucks are being allowed back into Gaza.
President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff and his son-in-law Jared Kushner, who's also been a key negotiator, have returned to Israel to work on keeping the peace deal intact.
Prime Minister Netanyahu met earlier today with Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner on the developments and updates in the region.
The two sat down with CBS's 60 Minutes to discuss implementation of the future phases, which includes rebuilding Gaza. They also talked about their message to the Israelis.
Now that the war is over, if you want to integrate Israel with the broader Middle East, you have to find a way to help the Palestinian people thrive and do better.
How are you doing with that message?
We're just getting started.
Kushner acknowledged Hamas is trying to take back its position governing Gaza and that success or failure of peace in the region will be the creation of a viable alternative. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Israel confirmed that Vice President J.D. Vance will be headed to Israel soon and will meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. In this week's Unsolved Mystery, we focus on the case of a Trinity County man who disappeared 8 years ago, Stephen Hickson, last seen March 1st of 2017. When he called police, responded to his home in Hayfork, where Hickson said he had been struck in the head with a baseball bat, later changing his story, saying he had hit his head in a fall. Police noted bruises on his head and called an ambulance, but Hickson refused to go to the hospital. He has never been heard from again. Investigators say the person who allegedly struck Hickson has been identified, but it's not clear whether they are a suspect. Hickson frequently walked and rode his bike for long distances, and it's possible he became confused from his injury and wandered into the wilderness somewhere in the Hayfork area. He stands 5'8", 149 pounds, and when he went missing, he was 45 years old. Black hair and brown eyes. He has a tattoo of a woman's name on his right shoulder. If you have information, call the Trinity County Sheriff's Office. The month-long runway rehabilitation project wrapping up today at the Redding Regional Airport. The project grounded commercial flights for the past month. Upgrades include new pavement markings, taxiway connectors, and runway signs. The first reconstruction there in nearly 25 years. The airport manager said the first flight expected to arrive at 12:15 tomorrow afternoon from San Francisco. A new development about several control burns planned for Butte County this week. CAL FIRE planned to start today with a scheduled burn in Forest Ranch, but because of weather, today's been declared a no burn day. So CAL FIRE says that burn, planned for 7 acres behind the CAL FIRE Forest Ranch station on Platte Mountain Road, has been canceled. CAL FIRE does say the forecast looks favorable for the rest of the week, though, so it's still planning to conduct burns in Magalia on Thursday and near Lake Oroville tomorrow. A traffic alert for drivers in Paradise starting tonight. Billy Road will be under one-way traffic control between Skyway and Oliver. Crews will start the second lift paving for Clark Road at least 2 times this week. Detours are expected at Clark and Wagstaff's intersection. The work expected to wrap up by the end of the week. A close call for the Highway Patrol after shrapnel from a weapons explosion hits a patrol car. And it is Surf and Turf, a feast for a cause. A guest joins us next with details.